Greetings and welcome to a new video about analog filter design. In this example we will discuss the Bessel response for a high-pass filter design. We will work out everything step by step in our calculations and verify these in TNTI SPI simulations. Okay, our objective is shown here. We like to design a Bessel response active high-pass filter. We will use a Sallen-Key filter circuit and we will also calculate the actual stop band attenuation. The specifications for our filter design are shown here. We need to have a maximum passband ripple, which is given by A max, in this case 3.01 dB. This is also the gain at the cutoff frequency. The minimum attenuation we need to have in the stop band region must be 25 dB, given by A min. The cutoff frequency is 4 kHz and the stop band frequency is 1 kHz. So at this frequency, 1 kHz, the attenuation must be at least 25 dB. So let's see how we can design this circuit. The first step is our transition sharpness, FR. That is the ratio of the cutoff frequency and the stop band frequency for the high pass filter. So in this case, cutoff frequency over the stop band frequency, in this case 4000 over 1000 will be 4. Now this is an information we need for the filter order. That's the next step. And for that we need to use this graph. You see here the horizontal axis, which is the ratio transition sharpness we just determined in step 1, and here you see the stop band attenuation in dBs. Now in our case we need to have a 4 for the sharpness, FR, and we need to have 25 dB, which is this blue line. So the red line vertical and a blue line which is horizontal, and there will be an intersection which is then shown here in green dot. Now that is looking at the orders here. This is the first order line, second order, third, etc. We will now be between the second and the third order. So we need to have the specifications met. Now we can try of course to do that with the second order, but it will of course not be sufficient looking at this dot. So we need to go for a third order. So from the graph you see we need to have n is 3 for f sub r of 4. So we need to know our circuit realization. That is the next step now. Now for this circuit realization we need to use a Sallen-Key filter circuit. And that is then by this 3-pole high-pass filter for the Sallen-Key filter configuration. We see here the 3 capacitors and 3 resistors. So we need to have 6 values for the components. And we have here unity gain feedback operation amplifier. Now we can do this in many different ways. The easiest way to do that is by setting the capacitors equal to each other. So the C1 is equal to C2 is equal to C3, and we define it as the capital letter C. In this case I picked here 10 nanofarads for all of the capacitors. Then the scaling factor needs to be calculated, is then given by this formula for a high pass filter, 1 over the C omega cutoff. Now that is then the omega cutoff we know from here, which is then 2 pi times this 4000. Now we know the capacitors, we just selected that. We know our cutoff frequency, so that can be then calculated. You get here 3979. Now this is an important value we need to use in order to calculate the R1, R2 and R3. And for that we need to have this table of Bessel response. You see here the filter order, the number of sections we need, and the kind of a section you need, 2-pole, 3-pole, etc. And also the ratios of the resistors for high-pass filter design and the ratio of the capacitors for low-pass filter design. Now we have seen this also in the different videos about Bode and Chepichet, what we need to do for low-pass filter design. Now we need to select this row. We see here the third order. We have only one section. That's also true. We use a 3-pole that's actually already given in the table, and we need to have the ratios here R over R1 of 1.4230. The other one is 0.9880 and the next one is this 0.2538. So from the table for Bessel response you see here again R over R1. That R is the exact same R as we have there for the scaling factor, and that is again the same value here. And we can now rewrite this, so R1 will be then R over that parameter, and that will be then here 2.8 kilo ohm approximately. The next one is the R over R2, that is then 0.9880, that's shown here. So the R2 will be then in the similar way calculated, and it will be done here almost 4 kilo ohm. The final one is the R over R3 is then this 0.2538, that's shown here, and that is an R3, again a similar form, and you get here almost 15.8 or I mean 7 kilo ohms. So we have it, we have all the resistors we have selected our capacitor value, so actually the design is now completed. So what do we do next? We calculate now our actual stop and attenuation. For that we need to go to the transfer function of the Bessel response. Now the high pass filter transfer function is given by this expression. You see here again the small letter n for the filter order. You see here the denominator, you see the numerator, so let's go one by one. This one here is the denominator polynomial, the n, and this is the numerator coefficient. Now you see also here the s to the power, that the filter order that is required for the high pass filter. Now what we actually need is only the denominator polynomial and this n sub n. That is really determined from the Bessel response characteristics. Now this is the polynomial in general. And now look at the table. That is actually the most important information for this calculation. You see the Bessel response transfer function coefficients. This table is also useful for the low pass filter, same for the high pass filter. You see here the filter order from 1 up to 8. You see the coefficients A0 up to A7, so 8 coefficients. And you see also here the numerator coefficient n. So it's also changing all the values depending on the filter order. Now for our third order Bessel response transfer function, of course we will discuss the high pass filter, but we can use the low pass filter transfer function or the low pass filter expression for the transfer function in order to calculate your actual stop at attenuation. That's actually what we're going to do. So we will use this row, and you see here A0, A1 and A2 values, and also the n. Now D3 will be then s to the power 3 plus A2s squared plus A1s plus A0. Now we have these three parameters from this table. You see that here. So you see A2, A1, A0, 6, 15, 15. Now the transfer function will be then in the time domain, which is of course now low pass filter transfer function, not the high pass filter. So we will drop this s to the power n. That's then given by this. You see now here the n sub n, which is then of course for third order. So we need to go actually make this 3. So here we go. And now we have here 15, that is actually from the table, and this n3 for the third order. And this is the denominator polynomial we just determined. So the next step is replace this s by j omega. So we go to the steady state analysis, and that's shown here. So this is 15. This will be j omega in the parentheses to the power 3, will be effectively minus j to the power 3. So which is actually shown here. So the j is outside the parentheses. So I will actually collect all the imaginary or all the real values. So this is 15 real. This is also real because the s squared will be minus omega squared. That's actually shown here. And this is also pure imaginary because it's 15 times j omega, and it's all here. Okay, what we do next is the following. We need to find the cutoff frequency of this transfer function. And that is defined by looking at the low frequency gain. Not the high frequency gain, of course, we are not talking about the high pass filter, but the low pass filter. And that is then defined at the omega 0, so absolute value of that one, divided by the square root of 3, or I mean 2, and that will be then equal to that one. So setting this, we know that this is 1, the low frequency gain for our low pass filter transfer function. So we take this expression, we equate that 1 over the square root of 2. We solve this just using a solver, and we get here approximately for omega 1.75567. This is an important parameter, and we define it as t sub n, which is called the time normalizing or normalization factor. Now using this value, we can now go to the next step, which is the scaled transition sharpness. We did it already in the first step about the transition sharpness. Now we go to the scaled version of that one. Now that is the capital letter omega r equal to this Tn, which is determined, times this Fc over Fs. Now that is indeed this small letter f sub r we already determined in the first step. And that is then here already shown here, so 1.75567 from here, times the ratio of the cutoff frequency and the stop band frequency. This will be then 7.02 approximately, and this is an important value we need to use in order to calculate the actual stop band attenuation for our high pass filters. So the formula is shown here. This is, by the way, the exact same formula as for the low pass filters. What do we need? We need the numerator coefficient, also from the table. We see that we need the two parameters, alpha and beta. Now here you see the alpha is the real part of the denominator. This is the denominator of this transfer function. It should be evaluated at the value of capital letter omega sub r. Similarly for beta, but that is for the imaginary part. So we have our denominator, which is the third order polynomial given in j omega domain. This is the real value. This is the imaginary value, or the imaginary part. Now we need to evaluate that, so you see that full mathematical expression. 15 minus 6 times this one evaluated at omega r, which is the capital letter omega r squared. So we put that 7.02268 here, square that, and you get here minus 280.9. In a similar form, you do that for the imaginary part, and you have here 15 times this omega r, and then minus the omega r cubed, and then minus 241.0 will result. Okay, we have now sufficient information to calculate this because we know the n3 squared and everything is now known, alpha is known, and also the beta is known. So if you do the calculation here, you get here 27.8 dB, which is indeed larger than the minimum required 25 dB. So we see that we have indeed the required stop band attenuation. Okay, let's now go to the simulation result and check our calculations. This is the Bode plot. You see here the gain plot in blue, the frequency in the log scale, and our gain. And this is the circuit we have designed and the circuit we have drawn in the SPICE simulator. You see the capacitors, each 10 nanofarad, the resistors we just calculated. Let's go one by one what we see. The calculation we made, by the way, for the A minimum was 27.8. We will also check that. Start first with the high frequency gain. It is indeed 0 dB or 1, because this is unity gain feedback, so we will have at high frequencies a gain of 1. The cutoff frequency, or the gain at minus 3 dB, is happening at 4 kHz as required, so that's indeed correct. And the gain is minus 27.8 dB at 1 kHz. So you see that also here. And that is also, and actually exactly as we have calculated our minimum, a minimum is 27.8. So this is according to the specifications and according to the calculations we have done. So everything is correct. Alright, it was our example considering the Bessel response active high-pass filter. We have calculated our component values for our 3-pole Sallen-Key high-pass filter circuit and also worked out to calculate the stop band attenuation we achieve in our design. If you have any questions, comments, please let me know and I will try to answer for them as soon as possible. Don't forget to like and share these videos so that we can reach more people for these interesting topics. Thanks for your cooperation and see you next time in another video. Take care.